also in the meeting. He's another one of your mentors. And there's also Yatharth, who cannot make the meetings, but he will be a mentor, so you can ask him questions too. So let's start with the rules. If you don't know what Crime Buster is already, basically in Crime Busters, you're trying to solve one big mystery. So there's a whole crime scene, and there's a couple of suspects, and using evidence and analysis, you want to find out who the suspect is. And there's multiple parts to this, but each of them will be used in the final analysis for the crime scene. So like there will be analyzing polymers. So you need to analyze this random polymer, and then you might need to analyze this random footprint, but they'll all be evidence for the final analysis and the final suspect for the whole crime scene. So basically there's a lot of different parts to this. There's qualitative analysis, which basically accounts for 50% of your score, which is a very huge amount. There's polymers, which account for 10%. There's paper chromatography, which is 5%. There's crime scene physical evidence, which is 10%. And there's regular analysis, which is 25%. And for today, we're going to go over mainly the qualitative analysis and the paper chromatography. And then in 2 weeks, so not next week, but the week after that, so the week during the competition, um, right before that, we'll explain the remaining three parts so that you know everything you need for invitationals. So first thing, you need Type C eye protection. Now, Type C eye protection looks something like this. It's not like it's not very, like, it's not glasses. It actually has like back coverage, these holes mainly, and then basically you can search up the difference between Type C and like Type A and B just to make sure you have the right one. But this is really important because they won't let you into the event without these goggles. And I have had teammates, which not in Crime Busters, but in another event, experimental design, where I had to start the first 20 minutes of the whole test without them because they didn't have their goggles. So you should really get your goggles. And the other things that you will need, other than goggles, is that if we go back to the rules here, it says here that each participant may bring one unique 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Basically, you and your partner combined can bring 2 sheets of paper, both double-sided, and these are basically your notes. And these notes basically are things that you don't know. So you don't want to put like things that you're familiar with because the best case scenario, you don't want to be looking at your notes too much, but just in case you don't memorize something, you want to refer to your notes. And one other thing is that you're also able to bring items. These are items that will help you in the lab and help you on your crime scene analysis. Now, over here, they said um you will be provided some list of resources, but you won't be provided with everything that you might possibly need. So like to solve it, obviously you'll have everything. But if you want to make it easier, if you need like more tools that'll actually like give you a better chance of doing well, you probably need to bring some more recommended equipment. These are on soink.org, so you can check those out and I'll try to find the link to it, but mainly check in with your like team coach or your like parents and ask them to check in with their team coach to see about the Crime Busters things. And it also over here in the rules, it shows what the supervisor will provide, and they'll provide you with all these stuff, and they'll also provide all the crime scene things. But basically, you want to start the crime with different things. So in this event, you and your partner, you guys want to split what you're doing. So while some events, like study events, you both need like a good fundamental understanding of what you're gonna do. In Crime Busters, you're gonna have to do a whole crime scene analysis in 50 minutes. So you and your partner cannot work together for everything. You guys are gonna have to split things up between yourselves. So one partner starts on chromatography, and then after they do chromatography, they do polymers. So for this meeting, we'll explain what chromatography is, and then next meeting we'll explain polymers. And the other partner starts on qualitative analysis. So if we go back here, qualitative analysis is like a huge portion. It's like 50%. That means it's going to take some time, and you want to be spending a lot of time on it because it's worth the most amount of points. But paper chromatography, it's 5%, but the reason you want to start it early is because it takes so much time. Like takes a whole 10 minutes for like the paper to like take out and then analyze. So it's good to start on the chromatography and then do polymers while the chromatography is running. So what exactly is chromatography? So it's basically used to separate various components in a mixture, and you do it through paper, so it's paper chromatography. And basically, um, I'll use this visual here. There's a paper over here, and assume like on this line or one of these lines, there are dots of ink. Okay, so you have all the suspects, which have the dot of ink, and then the crime scene. So what's actually in the crime scene is another dot of ink. In this paper, which is better, I think they should provide you with paper that is used for chromatography and not like regular coffee paper or coffee filter. This line over here is the origin. You want to put this down, but you want to make sure that the water isn't on there. So underneath this line is the water. No water should be over it. It's just like a brief model. And then you wait 10 minutes, and then you see how much the things have moved. So as you can see from this example, this is the line, this is the pencil line, and then this is where the water is. The water should be below the line, and over here you have the two ink. And then after the 10 minutes are up, you can see that in this example, ink A has moved more significantly than ink B. Each of these inks that you'll probably see, they'll have different properties. And then you basically compare them with the crime scene one and see which one is most similar, and then you analyze based on that. So I'll let Arv explain the slide. Arv, if you want to explain.
So like water is a compound? Okay, so like H2O.
And then this is just, yeah, you can explain it. No, you can do it. And or if you want to explain this, or do you want me to? Okay, so basically in the qualitative analysis portion of this part, you need to analyze a material that can either be a powder, liquid, or metal. Now, this is just a basic flow chart, and you should probably be familiar on how to test these based on personal practice. But basically, you have a powder, and then you just go through this flow chart, and it helps you try to identify which of the many powders it could be. And this is just a basic flow chart where you like just check like if it turns blue or the pH levels or what it's soluble in or where it fizzes. It's pretty simple. So if you really like the person who's doing the qualitative analysis, if they really understand the differences between different powders, then they'll really get a hang of this. And then likewise, this is a liquid analysis, which is more straightforward than the powder one. And this one, most of it, you're just testing for pH levels, but basically, these flowcharts help you figure out the
Um,
liquid. Yeah. Do you have a question?
can we just like screenshot this and add this to our like
Oh yeah. Do you need
cheat sheet?
the slide too?
Okay, so it's gonna be posted afterward, right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Do you need to screenshot the slide? Okay. So, or if you just want to explain some of these solids, this is just like how you should take your notes. And then, yeah, this is like another example of them. This is yeast. It doesn't have a compound formula because it is an organism. So if you have exceptions like these in your notes, it's good to note them down so you don't get confused. And then its appearance, try to be as descriptive as possible, but you're also allowed to put images. So if you can use a color printer, that would be nice to do so. And density, of course, important. And then table salt, NaCl, white crystalline powder, And this one I didn't put an image of, but you should put an image in your notes. And density, of course, again. Density will probably be one of the big properties you need to know. And if you just want to know like all the properties, it's like all the way back in the rules here, down here in the qualitative analysis, right at C, it should show like right here performing tests such as solubility, acidity, magnetic property, color density, and odor. So you want to have a good understanding of each of these, and your notes should be they shouldn't take up too much space because you only have limited notes. But after that, um, basically, I would recommend going to the scioli.org wiki website, and they have this like cool table here. It's only like 1/5 of the table. This is just for powders. They also have the whole table for liquids and metals, and I would recommend using this for your notes because it explains them pretty well. And also check through other sources to see like other things that might be interesting or things that might be necessary that are not listed on Scioli. Because Scioli.org, it's mainly a starting point. It's not going to be all of it. You want to still be researching on the topic afterwards. And then, Arv, if you want to explain this.
So like do we have to know what nitrate and chloride is? Like, yeah, yeah. What are they?
Yeah, okay. So then there's also actual homework, which you should, after you're done, email it to me or Arav. But basically, we want you to just communicate with your partner because one, being well communicated with your partner is a huge part of this event because it's actually like hands-on lab practice. So you want to have you want to split notes because each of you have one page. So the one who's doing the more um the qualitative analysis, you want to just write the notes on powders, liquids, and metals. And you might need help from your partner because these are a lot, but you will have 2 weeks for this homework. But you just want to like list these, their properties, images, and a tip for like the note sheets in Scioli for any event is that you can make the font size smaller, so it will be harder to read. So make it at least readable, so not like font size 1, more like font size 3, 4, 5, or whatever helps you the best. And you can also like decrease the margin side. So in Word, there is a default margin setting where like there's space on both sides of the paper, just like blank space. But like if you use margin, you can use like the whole paper. So like um I don't have the word thing on me, but assume this was like a word thing. Your whole thing would like be like this, but you won't be able to use the whole paper. You need to like lower the margin size so you can like write on the whole thing, and it's just on view settings, so that should be fairly easy to do. And then you also want to talk with your partner and split between who's going to do the physical things, which are the polymers, the paper chromatography, and if we go back to this list, basically crime scene physical evidence, polymers, paper chromatography, and that's basically one partner, and the other partner is doing qualitative analysis the whole time. And then ideally, if you finish these ones fast enough, then you should do analysis, because analysis, it needs to be it should take like around 10 minutes, so it's not that big of a deal, or like not that stressful and time taking, but it is a huge chunk of the scoring. And also make sure that whoever writes it has legible handwriting, because if they don't read your handwriting well, or if they like don't if they can't read a word, they'll just not include it, which might be score changing for some of the times. And also materials for the event, you can find them on soink.org, or ask your parent and see if they can like contact your team's head coaches for more details on those. But yeah, that's basically it for this meeting. It didn't take the full hour, but that should be fine. And just like study, as Arav said, just study like Khan Academy chemistry or any other chemistry thing you would think of. If you don't like Khan Academy, I would also recommend the organic chemistry tutor, who also basically teaches a lot of different stuff, not just chemistry, but teaches chemistry pretty well. And so you want a fundamental grasp on chemistry. So you'll have a whole 2 weeks, so like should be done, and then just email the homework to me and Arav. So does anyone have any questions? Okay. Okay.
50%. 50. Oh wait, qualitative analysis is 50, but analysis is 20, I think. Like yeah, same thing.
Yeah, close.
Five.
Eight means more oxygen and I means less oxygen.
Yeah. Mixed compounds aren't physically separated, but mixtures are.
I think we can do one more. Let me see. Uh, no, not really.
Seven-ish.
Like, oh, oops.
Eight.
Oh wait, never mind. I raised my hand by accident.
pH is the measurement of how basic or acidic something is. No, not exactly.
If
Battery acid. Battery acid.
Uh, phosphoric acid. Wait, what? Uh, I don't know. Citric acid.
Wait, oh.
I mean, let's see. I mean, do you all understand paper chromatography and what it's about?
Can you repeat the question?
You all know how paper chromatography works?
Um,
Or should I like re-explain it?
how does the paper like? What special things does the paper have that like makes it different colors and stuff?
Okay, let me quickly share my screen and quickly explain that. Okay. So let me pull this. Okay. So I think this example is better. The paper isn't anything special. Like it's just like the paper itself does not have any properties related to the experiment. It's just good at the experiment. And basically, suppose like this is the paper right here. You basically want to like draw a line with the pencil, and then on the paper you might have like different suspects. So assume like there are three different suspects and there's one in the crime scene. So three suspects and then one that was actually in the crime scene. So you put it in water, so assume this is like a beaker, and you want to make sure that the water level doesn't go above the line. And then you leave it in for 10 minutes. So it's like a long process. But once you take it out, you can see from like this diagrams that like the ink will be like it'll move, it'll like kind of scatter, it'll do like something like this. But this part is like very dark and then it's lighter. But like you can observe like which one the crime scene one is closest to, if it's closest to the one, two, or three. Basically, paper chromatography is just analyzing the ink. Does that like help?
It's like it's like a solution that dissolves a solute.
Roughly how long?
Oh, like 10 minutes. So you have to do it like first. Can you repeat that? You work on other things and not just sit there waiting for it. Physical evidence? No idea. I forgot what it was called, okay?
Yeah,
There's something
I
else.
kinda
I
glanced over
swear.
it, but like
Oh, polymers.
yeah, basically polymers, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if no one else has any more questions, then we can end the meeting right now. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I tapped out of it.
So you have to like meet with your partner and discuss which which liquids you'll be like researching. Uh uh I forgot. Talk about also take notes with your partners about powders, liquids, and metals. Um, like looking at Khan Academy, like videos to learn about chemistry.
Okay, let me quickly open that up. Let me see. Okay, let me share this. Okay, so this is basically the chemistry archive. Like, you can go through like a lot of these. They have like videos, and they also have practice problems, so you can check those out. And if you hate videos, they also got like articles. Yeah, on lesson 1, this introduction to the atom. Yeah. So like electron configurations, it's like multiple choice. But yeah. Like, not all of it is gonna be useful, but like it's just gonna be good fundamental learning to crime busters. So yeah. Less, yeah. Or do you have anything else to say before we end the meeting? Okay. So if no one else has any questions, then we can end the meeting. Okay, bye.